Don't bring up a guy who averaged 5 points a game. I'm not going to stoop to his level. You average 5 points a game, shut the hell up.
Talking about basketball that
Charles Barkley just wrecked Kendrick Perkins on live TV. And Shaq? He made it even worse. Listen to this. Perkins goes on national television and calls Michael Jordan petty. Let that sink in. A guy who averaged 5 points a game is calling a flawless, six-time champion petty. Why? It's honestly embarrassing. It was all over free shoes. Jordan Brand stopped sending Perkins free sneakers. So suddenly, the ultimate basketball legend is petty in the eyes of a career backup. Barkley did not hold back. He totally destroyed him. He called Perkins a fool, an idiot, and reminded everyone that a 5-point scorer has no right to judge greatness. Then Shaq jumped in. He hit him with a nickname so brutal, it is never going away. Even Draymond Green had to pile on from the outside. It was one of the most savage takedowns in TV history, and Perkins walked right into every single second of it. It all started when Perkins did what he does best. He got on camera to say something just to go viral. No real facts. No game tape. Just a salty personal story he thought would make Jordan look bad.
Jordan looks small.
Look, let me say this, Molly. I keep J's on my feet. I used to get boxes in the mail all the time of the J's before they even hit the stores. As soon as I said that LeBron James was the GOAT, those boxes stopped coming.
Just think about what Perkins admitted on camera for a second. The biggest sneaker brand in the world was giving him free shoes before they even hit the stores. Was he thankful? Nope. He just got mad the second the free stuff stopped. Perkins actually called a man petty just for deciding what to do with his own shoes. We are talking about the same guy who built a massive empire making over $7 billion a year. That is not being petty. That is just business. But Perkins could not tell the difference between getting a gift and being owed a favor. And that complete lack of self-awareness is exactly what set Barkley off. As soon as Charles heard what Perkins said, he did not hesitate. No playing nice. No trying to keep the peace. Someone told Barkley that Perkins called his opinion stupid. And Chuck's comeback? It was instant.
Immediately.
First of all, don't bring up a guy who averaged 5 points a game. I'm not going to stoop to his level. You average 5 points a game, shut the hell up.
5 points. That was the number Barkley kept using like a weapon. He just wouldn't drop it. At that level of basketball, your stats are everything. They earn you respect. You cannot call a six-time champ petty when you barely scored enough to win a pickup game at the park. If you do, you get roasted in public. And that is exactly what Barkley did. Perkins acted like he was the expert on greatness. So Barkley reminded him, loud and clear, that greatness was never part of his story. No hesitation, no regrets, and definitely no apologies. But Chuck was not even close to finished. This wasn't just about one bad comment. This had been building up for years. Perkins had been on TV saying crazy things left and right. And Barkley? He was watching. He kept quiet and saved it all up, just waiting for the perfect time to let it all out. That moment finally came on inside the NBA. Perkins went on TV and actually said the Lakers saved the NBA season. Like the whole league would just fall apart without one team. Barkley's response? Instant fire.
I saw a fool idiot on TV talking about the Lakers saved the NBA.
Save the NBA.
Yeah.
Idiot. Fool. He said both words twice on live TV, just to make sure everyone at home heard him loud and clear. This was not some friendly debate about basketball. Barkley was drawing a massive line in the sand for sports media. On one side, the true legends who earned their voice through years of real greatness. On the other side, guys who average 5 points a game and get paid just to say crazy things on TV. Perkins ended up on the exact wrong side of that line. And the whole country watched him get exposed in real time. But here's the crazy part. Barkley still was not done. What came next was actually worse. After the name-calling, Barkley launched into one of the most brutal, sarcastic rants in television history. Everything Perkins ever accomplished in his entire career was turned into one giant joke.
20 average, Chuck. 5 points. He was the glue, though. He was the glue.
Leave that man alone.
The Philadelphia.
You got an opinion, man. Average a whole 5 points a game, and he was the lead.
The glue guy. Barkley dropped that line with so much sarcasm. It cut deeper than a straight-up insult. Anyone who knows basketball knows what that label really means. It is just a nice way of saying you were never the reason fans bought a ticket. 5 points and a leader. That was the joke. And it hit so hard because every single word of it was the absolute truth. But Chuck was not the only one using sarcasm to take down Perkins. Shaq had been doing it for even longer. During a show where he was supposed to be breaking down a game, Shaq just went off script. He turned the entire segment into one big joke about Perkins' career.
Perkins' career.
I need more out of Serge, and I need more.
I know that.
I need more out of the great Kendrick Perkins. 4 points, 5 rebounds, and what? I'm going with OKC once the great Kendrick Perkins steps his game up.
The great Kendrick Perkins. Shaq said it with so much fake respect, the insult hit even harder. Imagine calling a career 5-point scorer great on national TV. Shaq even paused after saying for points, like it was some kind of legendary stat. He acted like the whole league was just holding its breath, waiting for Perkins to take over. Every single word dripped with heavy sarcasm, and the audience totally knew it. But here is the thing. This is exactly how Shaq and Barkley treated Perkins way before the Jordan comment even happened. He was already a massive running joke between two of the most dominant players ever. So, calling Jordan petty? That just handed them free ammo. And this is where it gets really bad for Perkins. Because when you come for a legend in that circle, the whole squad comes for you. Shaq did not just trade insults. He stamped Perkins with a nickname that followed him everywhere. And Barkley? He broke down exactly how the whole thing started.
Shaq is so sensitive at times. Right. Because I was going to, let it go. And he's like, no. My mama told me growing up, we kill all roaches. And I said, so that's how the whole roast thing came up. Right. And so anytime anything happened right now, Shaq's like,
a roach. That is exactly what Shaq called Perkins. And this was no accident. It was not just something blurted out in the heat of the moment. It became a permanent label that followed Perkins everywhere he went. Every time Perkins went on TV with a wild take, every time he made a claim that did not match his resume, Shaq dropped the exact same line, "We killing roaches." The craziest part? That phrase came straight from Shaq's mother. It was a childhood lesson, which made it hit way harder than regular trash talk. It was like a total mindset. You do not debate roaches. You do not argue with them. You just eliminate them. Barkley actually admitted he was going to let the whole thing slide. But Shaq? He completely refused. And that tells you everything you need to know about how that crew operates. In Shaq's mind, you do not give a guy like Perkins a single inch. And guess what? It was not just Shaq and Barkley. Even Draymond Green jumped in. A current player with no real ties to the older legends came out and said exactly what everyone in basketball was already thinking.
Talking about basketball that don't know basketball. You got fools like Kendrick Perkins come dressing like a clown. Come up here in a gel suit.
That is a current NBA champ calling Perkins a fool who doesn't even know basketball. This isn't some retired legend looking back in time. This is an active player, a guy who competes every single night. He watched Perkins on TV and realized this man has absolutely no idea what he is talking about. Draymond made it super clear. There are media guys who actually break down and teach the game. And then there are guys who just chase fake drama because they have nothing else to offer. He put Perkins right in that second group. When current players, TV analysts, and Hall of Famers from totally different eras all agree that you have zero credibility. That tells you everything you need to know. But somehow it got even worse. Perkins went on First Take and boldly claimed that 80% of NBA MVP voters are white. There was just one massive problem. The NBA puts out its voter list to the public every single year. One quick fact check, and everyone saw the truth. The panel was way more diverse than Perkins claimed. He was just completely wrong.
Perkins claimed. The correction came on air.
When Kendrick Perkins said 80% of NBA voters for the MVP award are white. The NBA publicly announces the voters each year, And after review, it is clear the panel is much more diverse than what was portrayed by Kendrick Perkins, and we wanted to make sure that we corrected that.
That was the very first time First Take ever had to make a public apology. Just think about that. A show literally built on Crazy Hot Takes had to stop everything. They had to step in and correct their own analyst because his claim was just too reckless to ignore. And this is the guy calling Michael Jordan petty. That tells you everything you need to know about his credibility. But here's what makes this story so much bigger than just a few legends roasting a TV guy. Barkley was not just attacking Perkins. He was going after an entire culture. A culture where the LeBron versus Jordan debate is just lazy, cheap content. You don't even need real basketball knowledge anymore. You don't need real talent or deep insight. All you have to do is pick a side and yell louder than the guy next to you. And the best part? Barkley has been calling out this exact nonsense for years, long before Perkins ever even opened his mouth.
And this lame-ass LeBron-Michael Jordan debate, which is lame. I've said it for years. The only people talk about LeBron and Michael is people on television who got no talent to talk about anything else. I've been saying that for years. I ain't hanging on to the 90s. I've always said LeBron's great, Michael's great. But y'all talk about it all the time.
That right there is the whole point. Does it matter if Jordan is petty? Not really. A guy who turned every single insult into fuel and every slight into a championship ring probably is a little petty by nature. But Barkley's point is simple. Perkins never earned the right to sit in the judge's chair. He didn't put in the decades. He didn't make the sacrifices. He didn't break his body down for the game the way Barkley and Jordan did. Perkins averaged 5 points his whole career, got handed a microphone, and suddenly thought he could judge the most fiercely competitive athlete to ever walk the earth. And you know what makes this whole thing even crazier? How it actually ended. Perkins finally admitted that even his own wife told him the beef with Barkley was completely stupid. She was the one who pushed him to just drop it.
And she was like,
Right.
you ever thought, what are you and Barkley taking shots at each other for? Why are y'all beefing? And I said, she said, it's just stupid. So I reached out and he responded, Big Perk, man, hey, listen, you're doing an outstanding job. We shouldn't be throwing shots at each other in the NBA Finals.
Let's meet up and break bread. Yep, even his own wife told him he was being ridiculous. And when Perkins finally reached out to end the beef, Barkley showed total class. That is the exact difference between these two guys. Barkley will call you a fool, an idiot, and a 5-point scorer on live TV. But off camera, he will pick up the phone and treat you with respect. He does not hold grudges. He holds standards. And whenever Perkins or anyone else on TV drops below that standard, Chuck will be right there to put them in their place. Perkins wanted attention when he called Jordan petty. Well, he got it. But it was not the kind he was looking for. Barkley called him a 5-point scorer, an idiot, and a fool. He sarcastically crowned him the glue guy. Shaq branded him a roach and mocked him as the great Kendrick Perkins. Draymond called him a fool who does not know basketball. And First Take had to publicly apologize for his fake stats. It all hit at once from every single direction. And Perkins had zero defense. Why? Because every single word of it was a fact. This is what happens when the true legends draw a line in the sand. These guys played at the absolute highest level. They bled for this game, and they refused to let the conversation get hijacked by people who treat greatness like some cheap debate topic. Barkley was not defending Jordan just because they are friends. He was defending the standard, the rule that says your words only matter if your career actually backs them up. Perkins forgot that standard even existed. But Barkley gave him a brutal reminder that he will never forget. The next time Perkins even thinks about calling Michael Jordan petty on national TV, he is going to hear Barkley's voice echoing in his head. 5 points a game? Shut the hell up. Do you think Barkley went too far? Drop a comment and let me know. If you think Perkins totally had it coming, hit that like button. And if you want more raw stories like this, the ones they never show you on the highlight reels, make sure to subscribe.